Whether you're a fan of going to the theater or lounging in comfort at home, the MCU has taken the world by storm. Welcome to A Marvelous Life. I'm Nashology, and today we're embarking on a journey through the ever-evolving landscape of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And we're doing so with one specific question in mind: big screen or small screen? Since its inception, the MCU has redefined not just the superhero genre, but the very fabric of modern cinema. From Iron Man's first flight to Captain America wielding Mjolnir, these moments have become iconic, not just for their visual spectacle, but for the narrative impact. Woven across many films, the interconnected narrative that culminated in the unforgettable Infinity War and Endgame allowed the insanely ambitious cinematic universe to realize its true potential.
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
But with the ending of Endgame came a seismic shift within the MCU, a shift we are all feeling. Disney Plus is now at our fingertips, more Marvel than we could ever have hoped for. And many of us no longer need to trek to the movie theater to catch our favorite heroes. Shows like WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Moon Knight have offered us new perspectives and storytelling opportunities. However, this has sparked a pretty intense debate among MCU fans. Does the small screen capture the magic of the MCU as effectively as the big screen? Can the episodic format of television maintain the narrative cohesiveness necessary for a long-lived cinematic universe? The answer is possibly, but only if done right. And I am sorry to say, in its current iteration, Disney Plus is not only a disservice to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it is also partially responsible for its post-Endgame decline. The MCU belongs on the big screen where it has lived since 2008. Let me show you why. There's no denying the sheer spectacle of MCU movies, the grand scale of battles, the stunning visual effects, and the immersive sound design are tailor-made for the big screen. These cinematic endeavors have not just entertained, but also brought to life the grandiosity of the Marvel Universe in a way that small screens just struggle to capture. The first Avengers film was quite the cinematic endeavor. With a budget of $225 million, Marvel sought to change the cinematic landscape forever. In fact, no one has changed the cinematic landscape quite like Marvel has. And it paid dividends, grossing over $1.5 billion worldwide. The Avengers became the third highest grossing film of all time. But even more important than this, we finally understood what a cinematic universe could become when tailored to a big screen experience. With a runtime of 143 minutes, Marvel was able to supply great character development, sparkling dialogue, and a wealth of high-octane superpowered set pieces. From cosmic battles filled with bright lights and ear-pounding symphonies to intricate fight scenes choreographed to satisfying perfection, the scale of these movies is simply unmatched.
Side effect of the emergence.
These movies showcased a level of visual and narrative grandeur that had rarely been seen before. Well, outside of The Lord of the Rings. The Battle of Wakanda, the attack on Sokovia, and the final battle for Earth. These scenes were not just rich in visual effects, but also in their emotional weight and storytelling significance. And unfortunately, although they've tried their best, the Disney Plus shows simply cannot match the level of spectacle that the big screens can. And these spectacles are supported by massive budgets, with the average MCU film costing over $150 million. Some films such as Avengers Age of Ultron and Captain America Civil War have cost over $250 million, with other movies such as Infinity War and Endgame costing over $300 million. Yeah, they're pricey, but these significant investments allow for cutting-edge visual effects, expansive set pieces, extravagant locations, and yes, of course, A-list stars. In contrast, Disney Plus operates on much smaller budgets. While exact numbers are not easily accessible, it's suggested that episodes of WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Loki can cost between $15 and $25 million per episode, and with seasons typically hitting around 6 episodes, that's roughly $150 million per season. Now, this might pale in comparison to the Rings of Power's staggering $60 million per episode, but it's a substantial television budget nonetheless. But if you compare $150 million spread over 6 hours of content to over $200 million for a 2-hour film, it's easy to see how the differences stack up. So, why are we talking about financials anyways? Well, the financial muscle behind the movies enables a level of spectacle that's hard to replicate on the small screen. In turn, the Disney Plus shows have no choice but to focus on slower, more nuanced narratives. This sometimes can cause the story to feel bloated with unnecessary dialogue and characterization that doesn't push the story along at a meaningful pace. The Disney Plus shows can be fun, sure, but when it comes to breathtaking, larger-than-life experiences, the big screen still holds the crown in the MCU. The Infinity Saga was comprised of 23 films over 50 hours of interconnected storytelling. Whether you were watching the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy, or any of the offshoots such as Ant-Man and Doctor Strange, you had a feeling the narratives would soon intertwine. And this was the strength of the big screen format. With only finite resources and limited theatrical slots, Marvel had to make sure every property mattered, no matter how inconsequential it initially felt. For example, Tony Stark's development in Iron Man 3 directly impacts the decisions he makes in Age of Ultron, with a desire to help protect the world. And the results of this movie directly impact Captain America: Civil War, which pits Tony and Steve against one another. Finally, with the Avengers split apart, the fragmented team are unsuccessful in winning the Battle of Wakanda in Infinity War, leading to Thanos' unsettling victory. Every film matters, all 23 of them, all building the narrative to the final showdown with Thanos. In comparison, the Disney Plus shows often feel like isolated chapters. Whereas the big screen format allowed the writers to construct a compelling and cohesive narrative, the shift to episodic storytelling on the small screen has contributed to a sense of a more fragmented MCU. With shows like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Secret Invasion, there's a strong political thriller tone throughout. They're grounded with less emphasis on bombastic action, and although each show is intended to have large stakes, you really don't feel threatened in the slightest. No offense, Maria Hill. And these drastic shifts in tonality do not end there. In fact, far from it. She-Hulk relied on lighthearted comedy intertwined with legal drama. Ms. Marvel was a vibrant and youthful coming-of-age story geared more towards children. Moon Knight was part psychological thriller, part supernatural action-adventure, and Loki was heavily based in science fiction with a strong propensity for philosophical themes. All of these different tones contribute to a feeling of disconnectedness. Whereas the films feel like a larger part of a puzzle, the shows feel like they live in a self-contained world. You can't help but ask, what is relevant to the multiverse saga? Any of it? All of it? That isn't to say that the shows don't add value to the MCU, they absolutely do, particularly in terms of character development and exploring new themes. However, when it comes to the tightly knit, interconnected storytelling that the MCU was originally known for, the big screen blows the TV shows out of the water. Whether you're at a comic convention or a movie theater, the feeling of community adds a special element to the enjoyment of celebrating your passion. Fans from all walks of life sharing cheers and tears as these moments become part of our collective memory. Big MCU releases are not just movies, they're events. I can still tell you where I was on April 2nd, 2019, when Avengers Endgame tickets were on sale. It's easy to remember because I did absolutely nothing. I skipped all of my classes, I skipped work, and basically skipped every responsibility I had. I sat there for 4 hours straight, fighting competition from all over the world to get these tickets. Because this wasn't just a movie, and most of the human species knew that this was an event they didn't want to miss. Remember the collective cheer felt the world over when Captain America did the impossible and wielded Thor's hammer, or the stunned silence and barely audible tears following the snap in Infinity War. These are more than just movie moments, they're shared cultural experiences. They become memories that fans carry and talk about for years, an experience that will never translate to the small screen, no matter how hard they try. The viewing experience is inherently different. Watching a show alone or with a few friends at home doesn't quite capture the same communal spirit. And it gets worse than that. Episodic format means you're on episode 3 while your friend is on episode 1. Thus, the experience is already fragmented. Sure, there's online engagement with fans discussing episodes on social media and forums, but people can be assholes. So, again, not very fun. The magic of watching a Marvel movie in theaters, surrounded by fellow fans, is a fundamental part of what made the MCU the MCU. The movies help bring us together and add a tangible element to our fandom. We're not alone, far from it. So, there you have it. The MCU belongs predominantly on the big screen. And although Disney Plus shows have their place in regards to opening up the multiverse further, they should be handled with care and not done to excess. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Should the MCU belong mostly on the big screen or transition further to Disney Plus? Till next time, I'm Nashology, and this is A Marvelous Life.